Have you ever really, truly thought about your own origin story? No, not the cute one about how your parents met. I mean the real one, the microscopic biological epic that took you from a single cell to, well, to you. It's a journey that happens in just 12 weeks, and it is absolutely wild. So let's dive into one of the most incredible stories ever told.
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? How is it even possible? It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but it's not. It's the story of how every single one of us got our start. We're going to break down this unbelievable process week by week and watch as the blueprint of life unfolds right before our eyes.
All right, so our story actually starts before you might think it does. The first 4 weeks, these are the invisible weeks. This is all the prep work, the high-stakes journey that happens completely behind the scenes, when no one even knows the show has started.
Okay, so here's the first mind-bending fact for you. The 12-week countdown clock starts before conception even happens. It actually begins on the first day of the last menstrual period. So, in week 1, the body is basically just cleaning house and setting the stage, preparing this perfect, welcoming environment. Then, around week 2 or 3, it's showtime. An egg is released and makes its way into the fallopian tube, just waiting.
Waiting for what, you ask? Oh, just an army. Get a load of this number. In a single go, about 350 million sperm begin an epic marathon swim. Think about that. It's a race with more competitors than the entire population of the United States, all fighting to reach one single egg. The odds are just astronomical. Only the absolute strongest, and frankly, the luckiest, will even get close. And out of all those millions, only one gets the prize.
And then, bam! The winner crosses the finish line. A single sperm penetrates the egg, and in that instant, a zygote is created. This right here, this is your very first form, cell number 1. But it doesn't waste any time. Almost immediately, it's like a copy machine gone wild, dividing and dividing into more and more identical cells, all while it's just casually floating down the fallopian tube toward its new home.
So by week 4, this little multiplying ball of cells, which is now called a blastocyst, has finally arrived at its destination, the uterus. But the journey isn't over, not by a long shot. It now has one last, incredibly important mission. It has to stick the landing. It has to implant itself into the wall of the uterus. This is a total make or break moment. Everything hinges on this.
And this is where it gets really smart. The blastocyst makes its first big executive decision. It splits itself into 2 teams. You've got the inner bundle of cells, that's Team Baby. Their job is to become the actual person. Then you've got the outer bundle, their Team Life Support. They get to work burrowing into the uterine wall to create the placenta, which is the command center and grocery delivery service for the next 9 months. And it's this part, the new placenta, that starts pumping out the hormone HCG. You know, the stuff that finally makes a pregnancy test turn positive?
Okay, we're in. Implantation was a success, and development just kicks into hyperdrive. Now, things get really interesting. So if you're a tiny bundle of cells about to build a human, what's the very first thing you build? You build the engine.
In week 5, the whole embryo is no bigger than a poppy seed. I mean, just tiny. But even then, it has its priorities straight. The very first thing it builds is a heart and a circulatory system. It's got to get the plumbing in place because you can't build anything else, not a brain, not a lung, nothing if you can't deliver the supplies. Blood flow is everything.
And get this, just 1 week later, that brand new engine is already running. By week 6, that tiny microscopic heart is beating. And it's not just fluttering, it's beating about 100 times a minute. It's the steady, rhythmic pulse that's often the very first thing you can see on an ultrasound. The engine has been fired up.
So, while the engine is getting started, the command center is also under construction. The brain and nervous system are developing at a pace that is just staggering. And you can already see the first hints of the senses. These little structures called optic vesicles pop up. Those are the very beginnings of the eyes. And tiny passageways start to form that will one day become the inner ear. It's incredible.
All right, so we've got power and we've got wiring. Now it's time to build the chassis. This is the moment when that little collection of cells stops looking like a blob and starts taking on a shape you might actually recognize.
Week 7 is just a flurry of activity. It's like a rapid assembly line. That primitive heart, it's now completely formed with all 4 chambers. The main body starts to get longer, and these little bumps appear on the sides. We call them limb buds, but let's be real. They're the first draft of arms and legs. And inside, organs like the kidneys and pancreas are starting to take shape.
Okay, week 8 is just fascinating. This is where we see some serious sculpting happen. Those little arm buds start to differentiate. You can now see distinct shoulders, arms, and little paddle-like hands. And those hands can actually flex and meet in the middle, right over the heart. The same thing is happening with the legs. And most importantly, a soft skeleton made of cartilage appears, laying down the perfect scaffolding for where all the hard bones will form later on.
So the basic structure is there. The rough draft of a human is complete. The next few weeks are all about refinement. It's about taking that initial sketch and adding all the beautiful, intricate details.
And we hit a huge milestone in week 9. For the first time, you can see tiny movements on an ultrasound. They're just little twitches and stretches, totally involuntary, but it's movement. And by this point, all 10 fingers and 10 toes are there. Then in week 10, the skeleton starts to harden up and you can see distinct ankles and wrists. The diaphragm also forms, that super important muscle that lets us breathe.
Now you want to hear a wild fact? In week 11, the head is gigantic compared to the body. We're talking almost half the total size. It's all because the brain is developing at this absolutely explosive rate. It's the body's #1 priority. Also this week, the eyelids actually fuse shut to protect those delicate developing eyes, and deep inside the gums, the very first buds of teeth begin to form.
So let's just pause for a second and appreciate this. In just 6 weeks, we've gone from a poppy seed with a little flutter to a creature the size of a strawberry, where all the major organs are in place, and it's already got tooth buds. The speed and scale of this transformation, there are no words for it. It's absolutely breathtaking.
And here we are. We've reached the grand finale of the first trimester, week 12. This is the moment where all the foundational pieces of the human blueprint are locked into place. The most critical phase of construction is coming to a close. Week 12 is all about running the final checklist. The lungs are completely formed. The thyroid and pancreas are finished. The full cartilage skeleton is in place, just waiting for the signal to start hardening into bone. Sexual organs are now developed, but maybe the most amazing thing? The nervous system is so advanced now that the fetus can actually react to touch. It has reflexes.
And there you have it. 12 weeks, a journey from a single cell completely invisible to the naked eye to a perfectly formed miniature human. Every essential system, every single organ, all of it built from scratch and in its proper place, ready for the next big phase, growth. The foundation has been laid. The most complex, delicate, and rapid part of the entire construction project is officially over. But you know, this is really just the end of the beginning. The next 28 weeks are all about getting bigger, stronger, and refining everything that's already been built. So what happens when this perfect little blueprint starts to scale up? Well, that's a whole other amazing story for another time.